Hello you guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about some tips on how to quit living paycheck to paycheck. If that sounds good to you, give this video a thumbs up and I would love to have you as a subscriber. And let's get on with it. So these are in no particular order, although this one is an important one, and that is to have a budget. I know, the B word, the dreaded B word. But it is so important because you need to be able to figure out where your money is going, where it went, and you need to be able to tell it where to go. Now, if you don't do this, you're going to be wondering where it went, right? So we're going to give every dollar a name. The money that comes into our household, it has a mission. And that is the number one thing that makes the rest of it fall in line, is having a plan and executing the plan. And this doesn't have to be hard. We don't have to do spreadsheets. We don't have to do, apps. We don't have to do any of it. Just get, a piece of paper and a pen. That's all you do. You write down your expenses, you write down your income, and you write down where you want to spend this, how much you want to spend on this, how much you want to spend on that, and you just make sure that they match up. If they don't, you're probably spending a little bit too much in one area. Shave a little bit of it off so that it matches better. It's really not that intense. I do have some videos on my channel about budgeting if you want to go check those out. But that's a big one. We need a budget. The next one is knowing your expenses. You need to know how much you're paying for everything. I know that sounds kind of like a duh, but so many people don't. There's a lot of people who don't even know how much they make. We need to get the numbers. We need to do the math. And we don't have to be good at math. We can use a calculator or whatever. We don't even have to, we don't have to be good at math. We just don't. We don't have to be good at numbers. We don't even have to be good at budgeting. Your expenses is so important because I almost guarantee you that you are probably spending way more on certain things than you thought. Like, for example, if you look over the last 30 days on how much you've been spending on eating out. I can tell you, I just had this eye-opening experience just not too long ago. We were spending right around $300 or $400 we spent one month on eating out. There's only two of us. Good grief. And we didn't even go out that much. But it adds up. And I wouldn't have known that. And I wouldn't have known that we need to pull this in a little bit had I not looked. That's why it's so important. This one is kind of a hack. It's great. So with our housing, generally our housing is our most expensive expense, right? Our most expensive expenditure. And so what we can do with this is, let's say, for example, you get paid twice a month. Instead of having your entire rent, your entire house payment or whatever come out of one check, if we split that in two, for example, we get paid weekly, 4 times a week, four times a month, So what I do is I split our house payment in 4 so that, we don't have this huge amount coming out of, all at the beginning of the month, all at the middle of the month or whatever, so that we don't have the feast or famine thing going on. In that realm, in that light, also groceries and gas. Those two things. You need food and you need gas to get back and forth to work, right? So if we make groceries and gas a bill, pick a number. Look, because you just went through your expenses, figure out how much you're spending on groceries. You may have your mind blown about how much you're spending on groceries, or you may think, if we're going to try to stay out of the restaurants a little more, then we're going to need to spend a little bit more on groceries, right? Let's just say you decide you're going to spend $500 a month on groceries and you get paid twice a month. So you would have $250 out of each check come out, right? So that would be $125 a week is what you would spend. Well, I mean, it can be whatever you want, but breaking it up like that ensures that each week that money gets replenished along with your gas. Same scenario. You know, you can't not have money for gas because it is something you need faithfully every single week, and you have to keep filling up your tank. So it's really important that these numbers, we stretch them out rather than having this feast or famine thing happening. This one is near and dear to my heart. So this one is making a plan to pay your debt off. Now you can do that in several different ways. My favorite is Dave Ramsey's debt snowball. To me, it just made the most sense for us. That's where you list all of your debts, smallest to largest, and you pay off your smallest one first, regardless of the interest rate. The reason for that is because it gives you that quick win, like, sweet, paid off this one, paid off this one. It gives you that incentive to keep going. Now, you can do that however you want, but just making a plan a lot of times really takes the pressure off of our shoulders. And that's where we're going. That's what we're trying to get to, is lessen stress and quit living in chaos. And so that's why we're trying not to live paycheck to paycheck anymore. And this is one of those things. We have to get a hold on our debt, and we have to make a plan, and we got to stick to the plan. So the next one is starting an emergency savings, because life will happen, and statistically, in every 7 to 10 years, there will be an issue that you have, an issue that impacts you financially. Now, we want to get as much room between us and life. So getting those debts paid off so that we can just, put some money into savings, start investing, all of that. It's very, very important for you to have a buffer between you and life, because life is going to happen. And we need that cush of having some money in the bank so that we can be able to pay for things when they do happen, because they will happen, instead of putting it on credit, because we just paid all of our credit off, remember? And we don't want to go back there. So we're going to have some money in the bank so that when we do have the crazy transmission that explodes, or whatever the case may be, that's happened to us before. So when that happens, we have some money so that we're not putting it on credit and then having, this crazy anxiety over now having this other bill while we just had this emergency. It's terrible. It's a terrible idea to use a credit card for an emergency. Anyway, that's enough of that. If you find that you have a spending problem, let's just say you cannot keep yourself under control at the grocery store, just something simple like that. The best way that I found to deal with that is to use the envelope system. Now, there's several videos that you can go check out that are very specific about the envelope system. But basically what it is all of the categories that you would naturally overspend in, say clothes, groceries, whatever the case may be, Amazon, right? You're always buying stuff on Amazon. Putting actual cash money in an envelope, because once it's gone, that's gone. Totally gone. So it forces you to just use what's in that envelope. And let me tell you, it's a great teacher. Works like $1 million. It's really good. Speaking of groceries, actually buying food to cook. So I saw the other day this guy on YouTube, and he was saying how it's absolutely BS that it's cheaper to eat at home than it is to eat out. What? I don't know. My point is, it is a lot cheaper to eat at home than it is to eat out. Now, I don't know what he was buying at the grocery store, maybe filet mignon, whatever, super fancy things. But regular food to cook, it is definitely cheaper than eating out. So We went through Arby's the other day, my daughter and I. It was $16 for one meal. You know how many meals I could have for that? If I was buying that stuff at the store and bringing it home, I don't even know. Anyway, it's ridiculous. But buying food to actually cook is a very good way to save a whole bunch of money. Now, the next one is telling people no. So sometimes there's people who look at you and think, either maybe that's not fair that they have this or whatever, or they find out that maybe you're trying to better your financial situation, right? And so maybe they know because you're excited about it, you're talking about it, they may know that you have this $1,000 over here in an account, or 500, however much you got in your savings, because you're excited about it. You're like, yes, I hit my milestone, awesome. And then a few weeks later, they ask you for money and you say, no, I don't have any. Well, you said you had that $1,000 in that account. That $1,000 isn't for you. That $1,000 is, okay, let me just say that the money you have in savings is for you. It is not for anybody else's emergencies. It's yours. Their lack of planning does not mean it's an emergency for you. Okay? Learn to say no. It is so important to learn to say no. A lot of times we are floating everybody around us. And that is not good. It is not good. It's not good for our relationships. It really isn't. Anyway, learn to say no, because it will help us in our, in breaking the cycle of paycheck to paycheck. This one may seem a little obvious, and that is lessening the expenses that we can, lessen, so that we have room for debt payoff. We have room to be putting money in our emergency fund, or we have room to be able to invest in our retirement, say. There's so many ways to do this. We can lessen the amount that we are actually spending on purchasing things, or we can go the route, or both, go the route of trying to lessen our phone bill, insurance, all of those kinds of things. And a combination of the two would be amazing. If when you're going through all of your bank statements, your expenses, and you see that you're spending like $1,400 on groceries, right? And you get over your heart attack syndrome, of what? Because now you know. Lessening the amount that you're spending on groceries. So let's say you think, because you're not going out to eat as much, whatever, so you'll be eating at home more, that maybe you're thinking, we're going to see how it goes with spending $1,000, right? Well, if you're used to spending $1,400, then that $400 can go towards whatever goal you have going on right now. And if we do that with all kinds of different areas of our life, the amount that we can save, the amount we can pay off debt, it just gives us that sense of relief, like, oh, I got this. And that's what I want to have happen. I want you to feel like you have this. Like, this is not too big for you to conquer. It is not. A whole bunch of people have done it. And if I can do it, you can do it. I am not special. And neither are any of these other people. We just actually, put pen to paper and started. That's it. The fact that you clicked on this video puts you way ahead of so many people. Which, not that we need to be comparing, but in all reality, most people don't even think about this stuff because they just keep going along and going along. You have decided that you're done going along. And for that, I am so proud of you. And I think you can do this. I know you can do this. So if this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up. I would love to have you subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.